Hey everyone, today we are going to be talking about equivalent expressions. For us, that's going to mean combining like terms and then distributing and combining like terms. So here in this first part, I've got some recall information, so things that we've already talked about that we're going to kind of bring back and use some more today. So the terms of an expression are the parts that are separated by plus or minus signs. So each thing that is separated by a plus or a minus sign is a term. A constant is a term with no variables. Coefficients are the numbers multiplied by the variables, so when you see a number and a variable right next to each other. And then like terms are terms that have the same variables. And just a reminder that constants are like terms, so we can add those numbers together. So I've got this brief little example over here on the side. It says identify the terms, like terms, coefficients, and constants. So the first thing that I did is I rewrote the expression with all of my minus signs written as plus negatives up here. So it says x plus 5y plus negative 2y plus negative 3. So the terms now are each thing separated by a plus sign. We could also use the terms that are separated by minus signs as well. So my terms are 1x, 5y, negative 2y, and negative 3. Now the coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables, the numbers multiplied by the variables. So there's a 1 in front of the x. We've talked about that briefly. There's a 5 in front of the y, and there's a negative 2 in front of another y. And then the constant is going to be negative 3. So now we're going to use our knowledge of that, and we're going to write equivalent expressions. We're going to start with just being able to rearrange the expressions appropriately. So I'm going to move this up here a little bit. So it says, writing equivalent expressions, rewrite each of the following expressions in a different form that is equivalent to the original. So equivalent means that it says the same thing. So I'm going to rearrange these terms so that the expressions say the same thing, but look a little bit different. So for part A, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my expression where all the minus signs are plus negatives. So I'm going to have negative 5x plus 2y plus negative 7x squared plus 3. And all that's going to do is it's going to remind me to take the negatives with me when I move them around. So when I rewrite my expressions, I always put the biggest exponent first, and then I do things in alphabetical order. So this negative 7x squared is going to go first. So I'm going to have negative 7x squared. Then I've got a negative 5x. So again, going in alphabetical order, I've got this negative 5x. I can write it as minus 5x, or I can write plus negative 5x. It means the same thing. Then I'm going to do the 2y. So I've got this right here, because alphabetically y would come next. And then our constants always come last. So this would be plus 3. Okay, so this is going to be my final answer here. I have rewritten this expression using the exact same parts, just written a different way. Okay, for part B, we add some exponents in there. So again, I'm going to do biggest exponent first, and then alphabetical order after that. So here I'm going to rewrite with no minus signs. So 9y plus negative 7y squared plus 3x plus negative 2 plus negative 6x squared. And then alphabetically, negative 6x squared comes first, so that's what's going to start my expression, negative 6x squared. Then plus 3x. And then alphabetically, the biggest exponent is then going to be negative 7y squared. So I can put plus negative 7y squared, or I can say minus 7y squared. Then plus 9y. And then plus negative 2. So in this example, I left everything as a plus negative instead of a minus. It means the same thing. This again would be an equivalent expression, an expression that means the same thing, just written slightly differently. In part C, there are no exponents, so I'm just going to go straight alphabetically after I rewrite everything with no minus signs. So 4 plus 7x plus negative 3z plus 2y plus 1. X is going to come first, so 7x, then y, so plus 2y, then z, so plus negative 3z, and then plus my constants, and those can go in any order. So plus 1 plus 4 or plus 4 plus 1. Okay? And now we're going to expand this idea a little bit further. So we're going to take this idea of equivalent expressions, being able to rewrite something in a different way that means the same thing, and we're going to add in combining like terms. So an algebraic expression in simplest form is an expression where all like terms have been combined. Okay, it's kind of like simplifying a fraction. We want all of our fraction answers to be in simplest form. We want all of our algebraic expressions to be in simplest form. So in example 2, we're going to be combining like terms. Combining like terms means identifying those values or those terms. So here's my like terms definition. Terms that have the same variables, and then constants are also like terms. So when I look at this one, I'm going to look at 3w first, because I'm going to go alphabetically. So 3w has no like terms with it. That's going to come first. Then my other variable is a z. Nothing in common with z, so plus 7z. Then I'm going to look at, I've got a minus 4, which is like a negative 4, and then a plus 11. So I'm going to rewrite this expression really quick. So this would be 7z plus negative 4 plus 3w plus 11. And so far, I've had no like terms with the 3. I've had no like terms with the 7. But now I've got this plus negative 4 and this positive 11 that has something in common. They're both constants. So I'm going to combine them together. Negative 4 plus 11 is 7. And this is my final answer. I cannot simplify any further. W and Z and 7 don't have anything in common. In number 2, I'm going to do 2x plus 4 plus negative 5 plus negative 8. Changing all my minus signs into a plus and negative. I'm going to start with my variables. Oop, I forgot a variable. 5x. So I'm going to start with my variables. So 2x and negative 5x. Those would be like terms. They are terms that have the same variable. 2x plus negative 5x is negative 3x. And then I've got 4 plus negative 8 is negative 4. In number 3, all these b's have a 1 in front. So this is 1b plus 1b plus 1b plus 1b. All 4 of those things are like terms, so I'm going to combine everything together. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And I get 4b. Number 4, again, I'm going to change all my minus signs into plus and negative. So negative 3x plus 2y plus negative 3x squared plus 5x plus negative 2x squared. And just like with our equivalent expressions, I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to start with my biggest exponent alphabetically. So negative 3x squared plus negative 2x squared is negative 5x squared. Then I've got some x's. So I've got 5x and negative 3x. Negative 3x plus 5x is positive 2x. And then I've got this 2y that's by itself. There's no like terms with it, so I'm going to include it as part of my answer, plus 2y at the end. Number 5 gets into what happens when variables are mixed together. So when I do these ones, I still go alphabetically, so x first, then y, then my xy's. So I've got 5x squared plus 2xy plus negative 3y plus negative 7xy. So I'm going to do my x squared first. I have nothing in common with x squared, so it's going to come first. Then I'm going to do my y's. So I've got a negative 3y. There's nothing in common with that, so plus negative 3y. And then I've got 2xy and negative 7xy. 2 plus negative 7 is going to be negative 5xy. So I can combine them together as long as they have the same variables. In number 6, we're just combining m's. So negative 12m plus 5m is going to be negative 7m. In number 7, I'm going to rewrite this as 3x plus negative 5 plus negative x. Now remember, this negative x has a negative 1 in front. So if you need that 1 there for now, feel free to go ahead and write it. So now my x's are my like terms. So 3x plus negative 1x is 2x plus negative 5. Number 8 is r plus 2r plus 3r plus negative 7. And again, there's a 1 in front of this first r if you need that for now. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 is going to be 6r plus negative 7. And then in the last one, I've got p squared plus 4p plus 5p squared plus negative 2. I've got some p squareds in common. So 1 plus 5 is going to be 6p squared plus 4p plus negative 2. This is just combining like terms. I'm going to create a second video that goes over distributing and then combining like terms. The homework today is the Classkick assignment with the task cards. The grades are turned on, so you will see whether or not you have the correct response for each of those combining like terms questions. Again, this is just combining like terms, so we're working on identifying what has the same variables. If they're constants, they go together, and then combining them and rewriting it as an equivalent expression. Thanks and good luck.